Hello and welcome to the Commander's Quarters, your Magic the Gathering source that helps you command your budget. This show and episodes like this one are possible thanks to viewers like you. If you're looking for an easy way to help support this show, make sure that you like, share, and subscribe. Also, hit that bell notification icon so you don't miss any new episodes. You can also go check out our playmats and other merchandise at thecommandersquarters.com. Another easy way to support this show is with our TCG player affiliate links. So whether you're buying a deck or individual cards, you can use this general link right here or one in the description. And the final way that you can support this show is by supporting us directly by becoming a patron. There are many benefits to being a patron, and I truly couldn't do this without all their support. Hey everyone, Mitch coming in from the Commander's Quarters studio for probably the third time today. Welcome to the show. Yeah, I just say probably the third time because it really depends on how long it takes me to edit this one and the last one because, yeah, Wizards has spoiled a ton of Commanders today. So if you haven't seen my Omnath quick take yet, go and check that out. And then if you haven't seen the Aura quick take yet, go and check that out as well. Got another quick take for you in this episode on Drana, the Last Bloodchief. And again, on these quick takes, please forgive me if I misspeak or make a mistake. I'm trying to do these as quickly and as efficiently and as well as I can. Wizards has decided to spoil a ton of Commanders on the first day, so kind of like an embarrassment of riches at this point. I'm not complaining. I'm just saying there's a lot to take in. So yeah, I'm going to try to give you in this quick take kind of my thoughts on this Commander, what potential strategy and cards I would use with the Commander. So here we go. So Drana, the Last Bloodchief is a 4/4 Vampire Cleric with flying that costs 3 black. Whenever she attacks, defending player chooses a non-legendary creature card in your graveyard. You return that card to the battlefield with a +1/+1 counter on it. The creature is a vampire addition to its other types. So this is a reanimation commander that utilizes an opponent. The opponent has to choose what you get back, though. So you're not selecting. The opponent gets to select. It can't be a legendary creature. And that creature comes back slightly bigger, and it's also a vampire. So this is a really unique commander, and one that I don't think we've really seen before where, you know, your opponent's kind of making that selection for you to get a potentially huge creature back. Again, it can't be a legendary creature, so, you know, no Shieldreds or whatnot, but there are plenty of incredibly powerful non-legendary creatures out there, you know, like a Blightsteel Colossus, but I'm not really going to be talking about that today on this episode because, again, it's a budget channel, and Blightsteel is quite expensive. But there are plenty of other non-expensive, non-legendary creatures out there that you can really use this commander to get out and just smack your opponents with. So, very unique commander. I think that the very first way that I would go about trying to get those big creatures in my graveyard is mill. Mill is pretty straightforward in a way to do this. Codex Shredder, you know, tap basically target player mills 1. You can tap to make yourself mill. You can also pay 5 and tap and sacrifice it to return target card from your graveyard to your hand. That if you need to do that to get something else back, probably not a creature for this deck, you can do that. Wand of Vertebrae, it's an artifact that costs 1. You can tap it and mill for 1. You can also pay 2 and tap it to exile it and shuffle up to 5 target cards from your graveyard in your library. This could come into play if, let's say, again, your opponent is selecting which creature to give back to you, essentially. And so if you have, let's say, 6 creatures in your graveyard, and, you know, one of them is clearly above the rest on what you want to get back, you can pay 2 and tap and sacrifice this to get rid of the rest of them, and then have that one be the only choice in your graveyard. And then Altar Dimension can be a fantastic sacrifice outlet for this deck. It's an artifact that costs 2, and it says sacrifice a creature, basically target player mills equal to its power. So you can just start milling yourself with this. This is a great repeatable sacrifice outlet that, you know, if your creature's going to die anyways, you might as well sacrifice them to mill for a few to potentially get some more creatures into your graveyard that you can get back with your commander. So yeah, milling is kind of the first way that you can go about getting powerful creatures into your graveyard. I would recommend, if I was going to build this deck kind of just off the top of my head, I initially am thinking about not using kind of really any creatures in this deck outside of the powerful ones. You know, most of the mill effects that you want in your deck are probably going to be the ones that are on either artifacts or enchantments or other spells, but not creatures, because if that creature kind of is a weak creature, I mean, Citrus Supplier is a great card, let's say that. Citrus Supplier is a great card, but if your opponent gets to choose between giving you back a powerful Eldrazi or a Citrus Supplier, they're probably going to give you the Citrus Supplier, and yeah, you really don't want to kind of be stuck with that. So again, kind of leaning more so on non-creature ways to mill yourself can be great. Also, discard is going to be another way to get creatures into your graveyard. Again, if you've got a giant creature in your hand that costs 9 mana or so and you can't cast it, you should just, you know, discard it, get it into your graveyard, and then attack with your commander and get it out for free, essentially. So, Key to the City is going to be a great one. You can tap it to discard a card, and up to 1 target creature can't be blocked this turn. Whenever it becomes untapped, you can pay 2, and if you do, draw a card. So this is a way to loot, and also a way to make your commander unblockable. Drana already has flying, but, you know, giving her unblockability is essentially, you know, just a free pass on her getting through, which is great. Call the Bloodline can be another one that can be very effective for this deck. It's an enchantment that costs 1 and a black. Pay 1, discard a card, put a 1/1 black vampire knight creature token with lifelink onto the battlefield. Activates ability only once each turn. So essentially this can be used to, you know, ditch a powerful card in your hand, put it in your graveyard, get a little chump blocker in play too. And this is a repeatable effect. You can only do it once each turn, but that's going to be enough, you know, just to kind of fill your graveyard with the right things. Grimoire of the Dead is another one that kind of has a dual purpose for this deck. It's a legendary artifact that costs 4. You can pay 1 and tap it to discard a card and put a study counter on Grimoire of the Dead. You can tap to remove 3 study counters from it and sacrifice it and put all creature cards from all graveyards onto the battlefield under your control. They're black zombies in addition to their colors and types. So this is essentially a discard outlet for a few turns, and then it turns into kind of like a Rise the Dark Realm. So again, you're going to be filling your graveyard with a ton of powerful creatures, and now you get all your opponent's creatures too, and you can just, yeah, kind of take over the game from there, and just, yeah, they're zombies, not vampires, but that's okay. Again, let's talk about some powerful non-legendary creatures that you can consider for this deck. Abhorrent Overlord is a great one. Just basically when it comes into play, you get a ton of 1/1 Harpies equal to your devotion to black. They have flying. It can be a really effective way at, you know, once you've got a decent amount of devotion in play, you get this out and you get a giant kind of, you know, army just out of nowhere. It can be a lot of fun. Overseer of the Damned. Whenever it enters the battlefield, you can destroy a target creature. And whenever a non-token creature an opponent controls dies, create a tap 2/2 black zombie creature token. So this one, and Abhorrent Overlord actually, if you need kind of that ETB, you can get that value right away from your commander when you attack. You know, they're having a good amount of high converted mana cost, powerful creatures that have some really good ETBs to take advantage of, can be huge. And again, this one also can give you tokens whenever your opponent's creatures die. And of course, you're probably going to want to run some Eldrazi in this deck. Pathrazor of Ulamog is a 9/9 with Annihilator 3, and it can't be blocked up by 3 more creatures. Normally costs 11, but again, in this deck, you can basically just get out for free if you either discard it or mill it into your graveyard. And Annihilator 3 is absolutely brutal. So yeah, this card and some of the other Eldrazi can easily take over a game. Again, you don't need legendary creatures. You don't need expensive creatures to build this deck into a very powerful deck that can just really do some really fun and big, powerful things with a lot of exciting creatures. And also, if you do kind of want to lean into that vampire aspect, you can as well. So like Malakir Blood Witch, when it enters the battlefield, each opponent loses life equal to the number of vampires you control. You gain life equal to life lost this way. So kind of like a Grey Merchant of Asphodel effect, but basically for vampires. Again, whenever Drana attacks, you get a creature back, and it also gets bigger, and it becomes a vampire. So you can just kind of keep that in mind if you do want to kind of do a vampire kind of tribal synergy along with that. Now, don't try to spread yourself too thin. That would be my recommendation. You know, again, I think the bigger focus of this deck would be kind of focusing on those big creatures, getting them into your graveyard through either milling or discarding. But yeah, if you do want to have some small kind of vampire synergies as well, that could probably really help out too. So yeah, I think it's a really exciting commander. Again, a pretty unique mono black commander that utilizes, you know, your opponent has to choose, but again, you can kind of make it so they don't have a good decision, or again, with something like a Wand of Vertebrae, you can kind of limit their decision to just one card and you have to get it back. And then, yeah, you've got a giant Eldrazi on the board and you can easily take over the game from there. So, yeah, Drana seems like a really exciting commander. Let me know what you think of her in the comments below. And yeah, I hope to see some more exciting previews coming up, or spoilers coming up shortly. So, yeah, I hope you enjoyed this quick take. And as always, thanks again and have a good one.